Hi guys. Hey, I just wanted to get on. I end up having all these amazing thoughts come to my mind when I'm in the car, and it's always like, oh, I want to hurry and get on and say this or talk about this or whatever, because I come up with all these like awesome ideas or remembering things crazy to say when I'm driving. I think I do the most like in-depth thinking when I'm driving in the car, but unfortunately, because it's not safe to do a live or whatever while I'm driving, then by the time I get done, I end up losing some of the amazing things that I was thinking of when I was driving. So anyways, I figured I would hurry and park and start talking to you like these cool things that I was thinking of that came to me. So as you guys know, I've been discussing personal things with you guys about how my husband and I have been going to counseling and how amazing our counselor is. Okay, so yes, we're in marriage counseling, and it doesn't mean, hi Becky, doesn't mean that we have a horrible marriage. It's just that I'm the type of person that has a positive mind frame of we can always do things to improve ourselves or improve the things that we need to in life. I mean, we're not perfect, and that's why we're here on this earth trying to figure out how to be. And so one of the things that my husband and I decided we wanted to do was to be able to figure out how to have the best marriage that we can have and how to strengthen it, what type of tools that we need to be able to continue having a successful marriage or even a better marriage, because good doesn't satisfy me. It has to be great. So here's one of the cool things that our counselor last night ended up giving to us as homework. And so far we're doing awesome on the homework. I'm super excited to continue doing it. But I thought that I'd get on here and kind of like challenge you guys, those of you who are in a relationship or married or whatever, to be able to do this with me. So we're not doing it by ourselves. But what she challenged us to do was to date your spouse. Now that probably sounds a little bit weird or whatever, or what do I mean by that? Well, what she described to us on dating your spouse is, she says, do you guys remember when you guys were dating? When you guys were dating, you did things like, you just show up out of the middle of nowhere at your boyfriend and girlfriend's work and out of the blue just wanted to see them, and how they were always on your mind. You couldn't help but to want to be with them constantly. And we kind of sat there and it's like, oh yeah, I kind of remember what this is like now that we've been married for 14 years. You tend to kind of forget these dating things and these rule of thumbs that keep the romance going in the marriage or the relationship or whatever. And so I was just kind of like, okay, like what else does she have to say about this? And so she was saying how that in order to be able to keep that going and stuff, we've got to be able to do, I think it's like 5 different things. We've got to be able to learn how to connect with our significant other. And there's 5 different ways. So intellectually, spiritually, physically, emotionally. I can't remember what the other one was. That's probably important to remember that. But anyways, intellectually, I didn't understand. So she explained it as this. She says, my husband's really interested into sports. He loves baseball and things like that. And she's like, I could give a rat's who about sports and stuff. She's like, but in order for him to know that I care and to intellectually be able to connect with my spouse, she says it's important because all of these different things that we connect with end up helping us be closer and having our significant other feel like we're closer to them and we care. So she's like, sometimes I'll sit down and watch a ball game with them, and she's like, it's excruciating for me because I could care less. And she says, and then I'll sit there and talk to him about the teams and who's winning, and so that he knows that I've actually paid attention to it. She says, then the way he connects with her, she loves reading. And sometimes out of the blue, he'll just pop up and be like, oh yeah, this book that I've been reading, and he knows it's the same one she's been reading. the da 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 on this and these characters and whatever. And so then she's like, oh, that's kind of exciting, because you know that helps bring romance in. You're like, oh, this person's really still interested in my likes and things like that. He's paying attention, so he's talking about the things that I know he's paying attention about. So then, you know, of course, intimacy is always super, super important, because it brings you closer. It's something that you don't have to share with anybody else but your significant other, your spouse or whatever. And that is super, super, super important. But that also is not the main thing in a marriage or a relationship. And then she talked about like emotionally and stuff. One of the neat things was Jake explained to me that one of the things that he loves is when I say, I love you, Jake. And so I was like, that really makes that big of a difference to him, that like excites him and helps him to feel like there's romance and stuff. And he says, yes, it does. And I was like, okay. So the last couple weeks or 3 weeks, I want to say, I've been out of the blue just saying, I love you, Jake, and saying his name with it, so he knows that it's directed towards him. And he'll message back to me and he'll say, aw, thanks, that was neat. Kind of gave him, you know, the little sparks that you feel when you're dating and stuff. So today we started the homework part of it with the connecting on the few ways I've been telling you. And I was thinking, oh, this is gonna be, I felt bad, I judged him. I was thinking, oh, this is gonna be something I'm gonna have to pull his chain on to get him to do, to like introduce the romance, because the busy schedule, the kids, all those sorts of things make you kind of tired, make you kind of not feel like being up to going the extra mile in your marriage or your relationship. And we just become lazy at things, and we just kind of figure, oh, that person knows that I love them, that person knows that I care about them, but they still need to feel it and hear it and acknowledge it. And so today I messaged my husband and I said, you know, I was kind of rude, I'll be honest, okay? I was like, I don't really see you doing the homework so far, and yet it's only halfway through the day and we were given the homework last night. I know. And he says, no, it's super important to me. And I was like, well, I sure hope so, because, you know, we really need this. This really means a lot to me. And he's like, I promise you. So then I went through the rest of the day just kind of being like, because where this came from, let me back up. Where this came from is I asked him today, the counselor said, you know, make a list of the things that you would like to see the other person do to help show romance and love towards the other person. And so I asked him today, I says, okay, I'm asking you, like, what type of things would you like me to do today to bring the romance today? And he says, I'd love the dishes done. And I'm like, oh, I can't stand doing dishes. It grosses me out, the texture and feel and everything. And I was like, dang it, that's what he wants me to do. And then he says, and have like a candlelit or something. And I'm like, okay, that's peaceful and that's comforting for him. So I'm going to have to make sure that's done today, because I'm determined to keep that promise. So then back to the message that I was messaging him saying, you know, when are you going to do your part in this? You haven't even asked me yet. Are you not going to take this seriously? And he says, hey, I am. You just wait. You know, it's a surprise. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, I'm not one to like surprises, and I'm not patient, but I've got to learn that. So this is what he ended up doing that was super, super special. All of a sudden I get a knock at the door, and I was just going to bypass and not answer it. I look out the window and there's a flower patch van in front of my house. Open the door and there's this gigantic bouquet of gorgeous bright pink roses with a card in it. And it says, you know, I just want to thank you for everything it is that you do, and I wanted to send you pink roses because I know that's your favorite color because of plexus, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, love your hubby. So then he messages me and he said, or I messaged him and I said, oh, thank you so much. That was so sweet. I love that. He's like, so did you like my romantic gesture, the connection? And I was like, I really did. That was a really amazing surprise. I'm so grateful for that. And I've got to stop doing that. That's one thing that is my faults and my flaw in our marriage, is that I sabotage things and I complain about it before it happens, and nobody likes the nagging and the complaining and things like that. So that's something I got to work on. But it was really touching, because he knows that I love roses, and I didn't even have to give him my list yet. He knows me so well because he's very observant. You know, he watches everything I do. He knows how I do my hair. He knows what colors of makeup I put on my face. I know that sounds crazy, but he's that observant of what I do, what I love, and the things that I'm interested in. And so tonight we'll be writing down our list when he gets home from work, and you know, we'll be able to kind of see more of like the things that we can do each and every day. And thanks, Sophia. And we can, you know, that's gonna be like a big huge thing for us. We've been married for so long, and luckily, and I feel very blessed that we have a marriage that, he is a very great man. We have a marriage that is like super strong, but it's had its challenges, and not everybody's gonna come onto Facebook or social media and openly talk about the problems that they're having, or even that there is problems. But I love helping people so much, so that's why I get on here and share it, because you know, I'd love people to do the same for me, and then I can get kind of, you know, have examples and figure out ways to be able to do things myself. But this counselor has been super amazing. She's very straightforward and upfront with things, but needs to be. But my husband has changed so much in the last few months since we've gone to counseling. He is a man of excitement now. You used to be able to we used to ask him questions like, what do you like to do? And he would always say, all I do is work. And it's like, well, that doesn't sound fun. And then he'd be like, well, I'm sorry, that's all I do. He didn't really have anything exciting. And so then when I would make plans and stuff for us to do something thinking it was fun, it was never the right one. You know, he was like, oh, I just don't want to do that. The excitement wasn't there, motivation, or anything like that. And then when he did this intense therapy and stuff, he now loves going out and playing baseball. Like him and I, this is crazy, but him and I will get together with my cousin and her husband and kids. We'll go to a park and we'll start playing baseball together, or we'll play kickball or something like that together. And that's just a really great way for us to be able to connect with each other and to be able to share each other's interests, to keep us young and fun. And it's been super neat. He loves reading now. That was something that he could never sit and focus on or concentrate with. And now he has like a huge desire to read books. And now he shares that with me. And now we can sit there and read something and be able to talk about it and stuff. What's another one he likes to do? He's just about the yard, and he's very, what do you call it? Just soft and gentle, whereas before it wasn't that big of a deal for him to make sure he holds my hand or hugs me or opens doors and stuff like that for me. And just his personality has become so gentle and loving. And if we get in an argument about something or whatever, like we'll both look at each other and be like, I'm sorry. Whereas before it could last a whole entire day or a couple days, which I'm a peacemaker and I hate contention. And so it would drive me nuts not being able to talk to him, or, you know, I can forget something right away, but he was the type that could hold on to whatever it was all day long. And now he and I are able to look at each other and be able to make up right away and to be able to own it. Another thing before I let you guys go, another super amazing thing, so simple but yet so important for relationships, is saying how you feel about things. Keeping it inside only does damage, because it has to go somewhere inside your body. And our two main pockets in our body that hold stress and anger and trauma is our liver and our kidneys. Crazy, I know. But you can only hold so much in your body before you have to explode. It's got to come out somehow. And it's usually the wrong way and at the people that we love or feel the most secure and safe with. And that's not a good thing, because words can't be erased. Things can be forgiven, but words out of our mouth can be so cutting and so permanent that we need to think before we speak them. And that's my biggest thing. But the thing that our counselor taught us is you talk about how you feel. So meaning, instead of saying, well, when you did this, it made me so dang mad, and it made me feel angry, and I was upset with you, because all that does is make the person become defensive and aggressive. Even though you could be saying it really calm, you could do it in a soft voice or whatever, it's still going to come out as aggressive, defensive, hi Jen, and mean. And so what you've got to say, and the counselor sat there and watched our body language, because one of the times we were in counseling, we started arguing with each other. Sorry. In counseling, we started arguing with each other, and the counselor just looked at us like, okay, and I was getting defensive and angry because of something he said he didn't like about me, and vice versa. And so the counselor was like, you know what I noticed between the two of you? She says, when I started telling you guys to first list the feelings, whatever it is you're thinking and feeling or responding to inside, when you start listing your feelings, like I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling confused, I'm feeling frustrated, when you start listing those emotions of feelings, she says your guys' body language completely changed with each other. She says, I noticed, Jake, with you, you're softened when your wife told you that she was feeling insecure, she was feeling worthless, inadequate, and she's like, your face softened, your body language and everything became more lax. And she's like, and Lisa, with you, when he started, when I told Jake to start expressing his feelings in just singleized words, she says your whole body and demeanor and everything completely softened. She's like, do you guys understand and see what this does and how important it is? She's like, it sounds so simple, but yet it's one of the hardest things that we have doing, especially if you were taught your whole entire life to not talk about things. And that's, you know, or you got in trouble for talking about things, and your parents got angry with you, and so you've grown up with that habit of not freely being able to speak, you know, your mind and stuff like that, and feeling like it wasn't safe to. And so we've had to she's had to rewire our brains and our thinking and stuff, and help us learn how to reconnect as as brand new people. Jake's a brand new person because he had the trauma therapy done. I'm a brand new person because I am going through the trauma therapy. And our brains are completely clear. There's nothing left inside there to keep us from being able to give our all, because our body's empty. We've let everything out with that therapy to be able to actually now be able to connect with each other. And so now when if we were to get, I guess you would call it, in a disagreement now, because it's not a knockdown drag out fight anymore. We've conquered that. I can sit there and say, okay, I'm feeling really scared, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling overwhelmed, and then he will look at me and he'll be like, okay, what's causing you to feel that? Like, where are those feelings coming from? And I'll be like, and I'm just giving it as an example. I'm just really nervous about the kids going to school, and I'm worried that they might get bullied, and I'm feeling angry because I didn't feel like my husband was listening, and I really wanted to share this with you. And so I'm really needing a listening ear. And then all of a sudden, like, it's the craziest trick, well, not trick, but coping mechanism. And he's like, oh, okay. And then we start talking about it. And it's like, whoa, this is all we had to do all these different years. That was as simple as that. That's all we had to do, was just take a few moments and minutes to just say exactly what we're feeling and things like that. And simple, that's seriously all it is. So, you know, we're benefiting from the counseling, and I can share with you the awesome, amazing things that we're learning from ours, and can honestly be honest with you at saying, yes, we have some really flippin' hard times, so many hard times, sometimes where there's times I wanted to end it, and he can make me so dang mad or make me feel so horrible, and I can do the exact same. But it's not worth like leaving each other for, because we're meant to be. We're good for each other, and we can help each other out and be strong. One last thing I wanted to share it while it's still on my mind before I forget to tell you. One thing that is important, if you have kids and stuff, the counselor told us, she says, do your kids ever see you make up when you get in an argument or a disagreement or a fight? And I was like, I think sometimes. She's like, it's super important that you start showing them more. She says it gives a sense of security to our kids or anybody's kids, because they see the fight, and then that gives them insecurity, because your kids, like, you know, will hear stuff from other kids at school and stuff that talk about divorce or a parent leaving or whatever. And so then that's all that's locked in your child's mind when you're yelling or just arguing, or even just simply as disagreeing. And so she's like, here's an example. She's like, you're on the phone with Jake and he says something that really irritates you or upsets you. So you go, oh, can't believe he just said that. That makes me so upset. And she's like, and you're around your kids. Then you got to go, but I guess I better call Dad and make it right with him, because I just love that man. And it's like, ooh, that's going to be hard. You know, because when you're angry, the last thing you feel like doing is admitting when you're wrong, or saying you're sorry, or even calling that person. For me, I'm the type of person that blows up and then doesn't want to say anything, and I just kind of resort to being by myself for a little bit, and I don't want to talk to anybody. So that has been something that we're going to have to work on too. So luckily these incidents are way far and in between from each other, and I'm a little bit nervous about to stop counseling, because that's just a sense of security for me. You know, that's that book that you want to keep in your purse or your pocket at all times, that, you know, but she's given us all the meat to put on the bones and stuff, and we've just got to continue using them and be able to share them with all our other friends and family and stuff to be able to help them. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope this is something that might help you, and you can take an account to whatever relationship that you're in, and that you enjoyed hearing me through the experiences that we're going through. See ya.